Hey everybody, so today I'm going to talk about the last semester that we just had where we were thrown into distance learning and some tips that I found that helped me out quite a bit as we went along. So first thing I'm going to discuss is like the setup and organization, so my physical setup and conceptual setup of my classes. Then I'll talk about how to incorporate a personal touch, make online learning feel a little bit more like personal classroom learning. And finally, the teaching strategies that were outlined by Adam and Renee. I have three of them that I'm going to discuss with examples from class. So please keep watching. Hope you enjoy it. So this is my setup. If you notice, I have two screens. Two screens allows for double productivity. The way I would interact with students is I would communicate with Zoom. So I just use the camera and the microphone that are incorporated in the laptop, but I also use a document camera. So this document camera allows me to project what I'm writing to the students and interact with them. And so we would meet every time, normal class time. We would communicate that way, and they would get to see what I was writing. So I'll put a couple of examples of this in the video that you'll see. One of the most difficult tasks that I had to deal with this semester was trying to retrieve graded work from students and get it back to students. So what I started to do was actually scan materials. They would email me their pictures of their results. I'd have to go into work, try and print things out. It didn't work for numerous reasons. I was waiting behind a lot of people. It ate up a lot of time doing something that used to be so simple, became, you know, a 15-minute event in my life that I really just didn't want to deal with. So what I started having students do was actually uploading their materials to OneDrive. So what I preferred students to do was actually come through, make a folder. That way I could access that folder. Now, each of the materials on the inside is kind of nice because what you can do is you can actually grade that material. You can physically write on there. And I'm a person who prefers to physically write to get feedback to students so they can understand why something wasn't quite right that they were trying to do. The benefit is when you're done working with this, the student gets feedback immediately. They can access their graded materials at any time. And so I also record all of my lectures and I post the videos to YouTube. This is my own YouTube channel. Anybody's welcome to go to it. But if you go, you can look and you can see any video that I've recorded in the past. And this last semester, I posted every video online so students could access them no matter if they were having internet troubles or not. And this allowed them to actually re-review the material, which they found beneficial. Having an organized Moodle page can also help out quite a bit. So if you look on my Moodle page that I have here, we have syllabi, the homework, even the exams that they have to take. I also include all the grades, so every grade that they get, I post online. This helps remove any ambiguity about their grades and allows them to keep track of what's going on. Also, I include that YouTube page that I previously discussed when it comes to wanting to re-review those lectures. So there are two other things that I found to help make the classroom feel more like a person-to-person class. One of those things is scheduling the meeting ahead of time so the students can actually access the meeting before you. What I found is every time I did this, the students would be talking back and forth to one another rather than just being completely silent, waiting until I got on and starting the course. This way, they would be a little more talkative, they would be a little more energetic, helps keep the flow of the class move a little bit better. The other thing is usually I would spend the first minute or two of the class, just talking to the students, see how they were doing, talk about something completely unrelated to the course that we were going to be doing later that day, or just to get them to know that I know what they're going through. I can see a little bit more into their lives, and they can see a little bit more into my life. There were multiple times where, you know, the cat would be scratching at the door. I'd bring her, parade her in, and everybody would be excited about it. Or there'd be some mix up. We would all laugh about it, or just some constant running joke that we had going in the course, and we would bring those back up constantly just to keep the flow going a little bit better. So one of the teaching strategies I would like to discuss is retrieval practice, where what retrieval practice is you have students basically recall something that you went over previously. So an example that I have for you is from an equilibrium experiment that we utilize in general chemistry, where students have to use something called Beer's law. How does absorbance relate to anything that we can use in here?
Relates to the concentration.
Right. Through what law?
The beer? No.
Yeah, it's Beer's law.
Oh, it is? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, be confident. You know what you're talking about. Beer's law. All right, what is Beer's law again? Absorbance is equal to what?
Those alpha-looking things.
Yeah, a little curlicue thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, what else do we got?
Isn't it B?
Yeah.
And what else?
I don't remember.
C.
Yeah, C. Okay. Another example I had is in my upper level chemistry course, Physical Chemistry 2, where we were discussing the variational principle. So last time we were talking about this equation, we were talking about the variational principle, and we arrived at this point. And do people remember what was the purpose of the variational principle? Like, what were we trying to get to?
Like the assumption or the known result that will always be greater than the true energy.
Yep, that was true. What were you going to say, Maddie?
To minimize the E.
Yeah, we're looking to have the lowest energy we possibly can, and we're looking for the wave functions, these C's. The other teaching strategy that's heavily used in my courses is elaboration. So this is basically you start the class summarizing what they will learn, what they have learned in the past, and where they're going from here on out. So I have some examples of those that you can see next. So last time we were talking about different approximations we can make to try and solve for real molecular systems. One of the ones that we discussed was Huckel theory. We've used a bunch of the other ones like DFT, Hartree-Fock, and so on in lab. But let's talk about Huckel theory, because it actually still is somewhat of use and can be comes in handy when you're thinking about cyclical systems, pi systems, and even some reactions. And we'll give an example of it. So finally, the last strategy I'd like to talk about is focus. So if you noticed kind of over in the corner of all the example videos, you can see the students kind of scrambling notes down. This is why I choose to organize the class the way I do, project the notes up and have students write that down. It keeps them focused on the task rather than looking at their computer screen, like being able to click and check out other browsers and things, and to keep them kind of away from their phones. So this helps out quite a bit to keep students focused and on task. And that's what I really think is part of the battle with using technology, is that you can easily just be distracted by something else, something blinking on the computer. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. We talked about basically how my course is organized, my setup, how do I incorporate some personalization into the course, and a couple of those teaching strategies that can be helpful for students. Thank you for watching.